Greetings, and welcome to another episode of 1320 Time Stream. This is Alea Eternal, and we're going to be doing the thing today. Okay, let's check out the thing in the form of the night wavespell. And today's day, which is the blue solar monkey. Yesterday we had that dog energy, and today we had that monkey energy. And tomorrow we'll have that human energy. So I'll leave you with that before we get into our breath today. Let's get into that. That's going to be our left pointy finger with our left elbow on the out breath. Breathe out, left pointy finger, left elbow. Begin. Okay. Oh, look, there's some dogs now. Reminding us of yesterday. Okay, so let's get into the solar monkey. And the first thing that comes up for me around that in its explanation is what I'm going to call the transformation of mammalian consciousness. And it's like I'm going to say, is starting from the moon and moving to the wizard. There's a specific frequency which I feel has to do with emotional communication. And while the moon itself kind of represents that more pure emotional value, it's almost the symbol that represents the movement and presence and space that is emotion. The dog goes a little further to begin representing the tribal, biological, electromagnetic relationship that communicates and identifies in its warm-blooded, together, family-like heart nature. The monkey, which is also of the same mammalian tenet, is the same thing as the dog in that mammalian thing. It also has a bit of a pack mentality, not very much like a dog per se, but it still is. Monkeys kind of go in groups. They're in teams, families, that kind of thing. And what you begin to see there is kind of where the energy of the wizard begins to come in the monkey. And in this way, you could say that the monkey, the dog is almost like pure emotional intelligence, pure pack and together intelligence. Well, the monkey begins to bring in this level of mental intelligence. And so there's kind of like a simulacrum between the mind and the heart, or the mind and the emotional body. And so, then you get into the human, and the human, while still at the mammalian level, still at the emotional level, the mind and the influential nature is more defined. And then we go through the Skywalker, which is kind of like the ascension of the mammalian aspect of the human into the wizard, which is more of just the intelligence aspect. And then from there, we actually kind of meet that ascension. See, we go from dog to eagle. Well, eagle literally represents the higher mind. And so we come from kind of the moon to eagle, and that's kind of representing the embodiment of our physical, electromagnetic heart, emotional intelligence, and its transformation to a more disembodied intelligence, non-local, whole spectrums, whole planetary intelligence. That you're not so much the individual, you're like the whole system. You're not so much the tree, but you are the whole forest. You can identify and feel into the holism. So coming back to the monkey, the the monkey is this embodiment of wisdom and knowledge through playfulness, through illusion, through mythology, through story. And so we also begin to see an entirely different form of wisdom take place here in the monkey, and that is embodiment, which then becomes refined in the human as identity. See, the dog is not so much running on identity, because it's also coming from that reptilian brain, where the reptilian is a little more in the abstract, that is kind of in the instinctual realm. The dog is kind of just coming from the instinctual realm. It can be very impulsive and moving towards something that is more identified, and it's more calculated in the wisdom of matching its representationalism with the heart, or with the emotional constant. So there's a balance of the two. And so the monkey playfully embodies. And so today, because we have the solar tone, it's like we're embodying that with intention. And so today's type of playfulness, today's type of magic is representing more of a cultivated and calculated alignment of that playfulness. Or another thing that I could call the monkey is in-depthness, right? Because we also have the human energy tomorrow, which in many ways represents sacred inebriation, influences, sometimes even addictions, things like that. To a lot of people, it can represent like the psychedelic or the experience of sacred medicine. And so to me, this is a form of embodiment. It's also a form of, I would actually want to say psychoinduction, which is to induce a psychic state where you're going deeper into that identity and deeper into that self. And so the monkey begins to bridge this gap. The monkey is not fully immersed. The human begins to bridge the full immersion, and you can actually more see the Skywalker is the process of ascension through that full conscious immersion. Because while the human is still representing like, oh, we're just humans, we're just all the different walks of life we are, the Skywalker to the wizard kind of represents, okay, I may be a human, but I'm a Jedi. And so the specific nature of energy is going to be highly defined. It's going to be less random. It's going to be less self-discovery, and it's going to be a little more focused kind of on your own inner sorcery, your enlightenment practice, whatever that really is. It doesn't have to be defined like that. That's just some of the references that I use because I work with systems like that, and systems like this to me represent that kind of wizard energy. So that's how I define it, but don't get stuck in my definitions. And so coming back to the monkey, is the monkey, allows us to play with all the ideas, play with the states of embodiment. And so it also allows us to get into the movie, the story, the book, things like that, to just have a day where we're sharing conversation and story with others. It still has that communal kind of intelligence vibe because of the dog energy we just came from. And we still also have that looking into the depth, looking into the darkness energy because of the night wave spell that we're in. But in this aspect of it, we're bringing intention into the picture. Oh, right, we never actually looked at the words. Let's take a look at those solar monkey words here. So pulse, realize, and intention. And so, that pulse is that rhythm. And so, that could represent a lot of things. The first thing that comes to mind, especially when we're talking about playful embodiment, is it's like, I think of a child playing. They might play something the whole day. They may be really into something, but they also may play a number of different things throughout the day. And a lot of the time with children, you do see, what we could call make-believe. And so you have this energy of like diving into something for a little bit and going into that, finding themselves in that, playing that, and they come out of that. And so this is the pulse. One nature of the pulse. And it's with the intentionality, with that alignment. The reason the pulse I feel is important is because intention, or the power of intent, in some way the word lends to the idea or the energy of permanently aligning with something. And so pulse, realize intent, it's like the pulse is also showing that there is a natural algorithm, there's a natural way that it shows up. And so it may not be permanent. And that's actually why the intent or the intention is lasting, because it comes in a way where it shows up and it goes, it ebbs and flows, right? So we're the monkey today that is ebbing and flowing. It is working with the power of intention. It is working with the power of focalizing one's awareness and consciousness and delving into those aspects of the illusion of reality and bringing the magic and allowing us to play with one another and just, share and enjoy that experience of growth in a natural way for us. So I'm going to leave you with that. That feels like a good monkey download. And stay tuned for the affirmation for the blue solar monkey.